Good morning and good day, friends. So this is a live Saturday morning video, and after many months of waiting for this, I ordered this maybe back in, I wish I could remember, I'm talking spring, like I think even before COVID, late last winter, early spring. Deb Dana created a polyvagal flip chart, and we are going to work on this. This is called the Polyvagal Flip Chart, Understanding the Science of Safety by Deb Dana. If you've not read the book, The Polyvagal Theory in Therapy, it is a really good, understandable, user-friendly in sessions, user-friendly as a clinician to educate your clients about the window of tolerance and our autonomic nervous system. So I'm gonna crack the plastic on this. I'm excited. And they even shipped it to the wrong address, so it took like another extra week to get here. So I'm really excited. All right. Oh, here we go. So what we got here. I'm gonna read the back of this, and it also shows some of her different books that she's authored or co-authored, which is really awesome. So I have this book right here called the Polyvagal Theory in Therapy. This book, very good. Let's see here. And what other? Oh, the Polyvagal Exercises for Safety and Connection, have that book as well. And I use not all of those, but a lot of those in there. And so this flip chart is used to help remind our clients of ways to how our autonomic nervous system has been shaped and how it is active in our daily living experience. So that's really important, right, for the food, for ingestion and digestion. And so every exercise or everything I share with you today in our flip chart is going to be about helping our clients understand what's happening in the barriers to their ingestion and digestion and how we can help them. We can use this flip chart to display a page corresponding to the present moment, like what they're experiencing in the moment, thus anchoring that experience in the theory. So it's like, oh, the thing we just talked about, what you're describing right now, this is what it feels like. You keep a page of the hierarchy visible when working with a client's habitual response pattern. Yeah, so if you have a client that really, let's say, is their home away from home, as she would say, is dissociative patterns, even in relationship with you in the session, then you can keep that visible as an anchor. And we can also use it to support our clients' understanding of their own emotional responses and the role of the autonomic nervous system in their lives. So, again, we're going to go back to ingestion and digestion and how that works. All right, so this is like the little insert that falls out after the plastic. And by the way, I don't get any, there's no affiliate link or something like that. I just was excited to get this, and I thought I would share it with you. All right. This is really cool. So we're not going to go through every page because this has got several pages, all right? But I just want to give you like the gist of it. So basically, if you haven't learned about polyvagal theory, this sheet talks about how polyvagal theory works. And it really just describes like an outline, like the hierarchy of like our, the three biological pathways. Okay, and if you don't know too much about it, please, again, you're more than welcome to, you can do research on your own with Stephen Porges' work and Deb Dana, and how she's used that in practice. Of course, I have a whole course about it if you're interested. I think this is important to talk about. I always talk to clients like, why do I teach polyvagal in eating disorder recovery? And I'm going to read this to you because I think it's really important. It says, clients don't often ask why the therapist is doing something in a certain way, and therapists don't always think to offer that information. But by providing information about why, what, and how, the therapists are giving the context that the autonomic nervous system needs to feel safe and engage in the therapeutic process. So, we're used to as dietitians, educating on like how digestion works and how food works. I think it's really valuable, and it brings down the shame for our clients who struggle with understanding why they're doing certain behaviors when their minds know better. So that means that you've got your getting on with life adult self, and then you've got your defensive strategy system, which is your fight, flight, freeze, or please, and attachment cry. You've got those parts of your autonomic nervous system working, and they're overcoupled with food, overcoupled with food beliefs, with OCD, with like food rules, with over-exercise, with binging and purging, and to help our clients understand that the food has gotten overcoupled with this threat response, which is why when people feel like they're in threat response, they go to food behaviors. And so if we can bring more safety, basically grow the window, which is your window of tolerance, which is where your ventral vagal, which is the safe and connected part of our nervous system is. It's really important. Okay, so the 3 essential elements she talks about here is context, choice, and connection. And that's how I try to, in very non-structured ways, in my sessions at least, talk about when we do recovery, even with somebody who maybe is in a medically life-threatening situation. It's we might be pressuring them somewhat to get to safety, which is medical care, but they still have a choice around that. And you have to really just sell that there are better benefits to recovery than not, basically. Okay, so let's see here. And you might all know that there's a hierarchy. Maybe you don't in our nervous system. So we have 3 things. We have dorsal, we have sympathetic, and we have ventral vagal. And if you don't know what ventral vagal is, that's the part of our nervous system from the 10th cranial nerve all the way down to our diaphragm. And it really innervates a lot of our face, our hearing, our heart, lungs, social connection. All of these things, when we feel more safe, we're able to be connected and to learn and to grow. And without ventral vagal, people just bop back and forth between sympathetic and dorsal, which is exhausting to the body. It's taxing on the organ systems, and that's where all the eating disorder behaviors live, basically. Okay? So co-regulation, this sheet real quick. I think this is a great one to talk about in our sessions. What's happening is there's always going to be a drive to survive, and there's also going to be a longing to connect. And this is why you see clients go back and forth, and it takes many sessions, many interactions to help our clients as dietitians trust us, right? Because we are doing, we are asking them to basically let go of their defensive strategies when they don't have something to put in place in it. And so a lot of times the reason that progress goes slow is because there's just not enough safety on board for your interventions, your education to land. So the reason I do things differently is that I really, really, really focus on safety first. Before or the interventions I suggest, I feel like they have a landing pad to do it. So, and I know you all do that too. It's just, I'm really explicit about that with clients so they understand the reasons, as we're doing, let's say, motivational interviewing and the relational work is the curiosity that I bring to the questions I ask or the suggestions I have way more to do with what I think they should do and more about what I think matches their long-term goals and what their systems can handle. Okay, just real quick, this is a really, really great picture of what's happening in people's systems when there's a mismatch in co-regulation with you and your clients and the level at which they can take in what you're offering. And obviously this would be more co-regulation, this would be dysregulation. Okay. Just kind of skimming through some things you all. Okay, so totally as dietitians, right, we're going to want to be sharing this page of what systems are running. Okay, so when we're in parasympathetic, this is our rest and digest, but if too much dorsal is on, then we're in hibernation, shutdown, right, dissociative. Sympathetic, what the sympathetic runs, and here's the dividing line in our body. So sympathetic, can course through all your course through all your nervous system, but the dorsal, the ventral vagal is up here and the dorsal vagal is down here. And here is talking about the HPA axis, which I can totally talk about in another video. Again, she talks about the ladder. If you've not done any Deb Dana work, I'll be happy. Actually, Fiona and I are going to talk a little bit about Deb Dana's autonomic ladder in the course that we're running at the end of November. So if you're really interested in that, that's in 3 weeks. Please join us. It'll be great. Okay. These might be some things when people cannot express how they're feeling, to be able to show them pictures. Again, this is like collapse and how the body looks and feels. This is sympathetic, and this is ventral connected. Okay, and remember, in ventral we can eat and we can digest and take in our experience with satisfaction. Okay, I'm trying to breeze through here. Okay, so much stuff. Again, here is where the ventral vagal innervates. I have this picture in my course as well. It's really, really wonderful. Okay, blended states, we will talk about that in another video. And the vagal break, again, it's a little bit more than we can do in this thing today. But the vagal break is where we're able to move through our different stages of our dorsal. And what happens all the time in session, if we are talking about something that feels like a threat to the nervous system, you'll see it in your clients that they pop out of dorsal. Maybe they're dissociative and they got really anxious, or they're really anxious to shut down. The vagal break is basically the ventral part. If they don't have enough window, there are probably certain things we can and can't talk about with our clients going into a threat response. And just kind of understanding what's happening when you see it is really important. Okay? Okay. Yep. This is really cool to be able to talk about what's happening, just the impact of trauma and how that impacts just not only our able, for our purpose as dietitians, our ability to connect with hunger and fullness, our ability to know when enough is enough with movement, how to reach to get our needs met, grocery shopping, those kind of things. Okay. Interesting. This is really, really good. I'm looking at this one. I haven't seen this one before, and this is about the stories of comparison. And I think this would be really good to reframe around body image for sure. I've got some ideas as I'm looking at this, like, oh, yeah, we're gonna do some redoing here. Hey, Lauren, good morning. What book is that? So I am, like I said in my thing here, I'm going over the Polyvagal flip chart. It's an education tool by Deb Dana, and I just wanted to review it. I just got it in the mail, and I'm excited to talk about how I'm going to use this in sessions. So again, I've never used this before. I've been waiting for it for 6 months, so I'm real excited. It's packed full. This would be good, because oftentimes in sessions I'm writing down I do mine horizontally, not in a vertical kind of format, but this is the way Deb Dana does it. And we can totally talk about what's happening in people's eating and digestion in different parts of the nervous system for them with a dry erase. Totally could use a dry erase marker. That'd be cool. Triggers and glimmers. That's like a self-care list, but more from a polyvagal perspective. So you could talk about what helps people get in the window or be in the window, glimmers, and triggers are the things that, cause people to get maybe in sympathetic or shut down. And these are all, in this version for, let me think how I want to say this. She had these are handouts in her book as well. Regulating resource map, really cool. I think that's about it. I mean, there's tons more. I just skimmed very quickly across this. So, what I love about it, and lastly, it has a little stand so it can stand up. So it's a little flip chart so it can stand up. All right. So this is a polyvagal flip chart. I think it's a really good, again, I've never seen this before. I just opened it this morning, and I think this is a really good visual, especially as, I do a lot of Zoom Oh, Lauren, I'm so glad that you're going to be in Fiona and I's class. It's going to be really good. I'm going to really be breaking things down as simply as I can so things land, because I've been studying this for 10 years, this stuff, and I'm still just, there's like the more I go, the deeper I go, the more I learn, and the more I learn it, like simpler is better, slower is better, and it takes a while for a lot of this to, and to understand, like, how do we intersect that with our food work. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But with this flip chart and working online, I find that one of the unique and fun challenges is learning how to have visuals and concrete things when you're not in an office setting. So I've been doing online work since 2014, but really was cranking in 2015, all online and no brick and mortar. And, learning how to, share props and tools and visuals, I think, is really important for our visual learners. Like, a lot of our clients are more relational or experiential or emotional, and the relationship obviously is really, really important. But I think for our clients who are really blended, who have a lot of trauma, who have a hard time staying anchored, the things that they can see, and then bringing in their sensory tools, so they can feel like there's a connection in their space with you, I think is really important. So, so use your Zoom and share your screens with your handouts that you use. Find tools like this. And, as I start playing with this myself, I'll be sharing ways that, like, how things from a nutrition perspective have landed with clients, what isn't landing with clients. Some clients are just going to be totally digging this kind of stuff, and some people are like, yeah, whatever, just like, help me with other stuff. But I think, especially the more you take your time and the more you do these kind of things with your clients in session, it's going to feel more real for them, this work, and how important it is. So let me know what you thought was interesting about this. How you might use some of this work. If you are brand new to polyvagal, trauma-informed intersected nutrition counseling, please keep showing up, because I try to share tidbits like this. I will say one thing. If you want to take one thing from what I shared with you today in this video, is just start having clients verbalize as they can what's happening in their system. Not so much how do you feel, but what's happening in your system as we discuss XYZ, and what's the experience of it. Does it feel racy or buzzy or foggy? Or no, I feel, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the right word. Not glimmery or not a glow, but you can tell when somebody's really here with you, and there's a little color, and their eyes are more alive, and there's aliveness. Maybe that's a good word. So anyway, and start to help them track where that starts to want to fade out or run away. And so I would start with that and help them start to understand that those are autonomic processes coupled with the food and the conversations, and that means they're probably in a body memory or a trauma memory. And that's our job, is to that's what that is. That's why it feels so hard to be connected with what you know about nutrition or health at every size or whatever. So that's the first place to start. It's just to help them understand that that's real, that's happening. It's not because they don't know enough, aren't trying hard enough, but the body thinks that there's a threat. And so I hope this video was helpful. If anybody's watching the replay, please let me know on replay, and ask me your questions. I'm happy to answer. So thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.